Singapore is known for its sky-high cost of living, but what might come as a surprise is that some 80% of Singaporeans own their home. That's far higher than Hawaii or even the US as a whole. So how do they do it? Our Emily Cristobal recently traveled to Singapore as part of a delegation of Hawaii lawmakers and housing advocates to find out and get the details on a housing complex specifically designed to strengthen communities.
Public housing complexes fill Singapore's skyline. They can reach up to heights of 50 stories high. Economical, efficient, and the key, for Singapore at least, to ensuring many can own their own homes despite the high cost of living. Now, Hawaii lawmakers and housing advocates hungry for new solutions are looking to the Southeast Asian city-state for some potential answers, including in the form of a first-of-its-kind facility aimed at addressing concerns of urban blight. This is Campong Admiralty, Singapore's first integrated, publicly funded development that brings together a mix of government facilities and services, all under one roof. The bustling yet homey complex includes two 11-story apartment buildings and an additional structure that holds a public plaza, a food court with dozens of options, and a fully functioning medical center.
In Singapore, we have a lot of integrated projects already, but the program here is a little bit more innovative because it's about combining elderly public housing with public space, healthcare, commercial and social programs. So it's really putting conveniences at the doorstep of the elderly.
Pearl Chi is part of Woha, a Singaporean architecture firm, and is the director in charge of the Campong Admiralty project. She says the complex is designed with a, quote, club sandwich approach. At the bottom layer is what developers call a community living room, where people can come together to hang out and eat. The second layer is the medical center, which provides shelter over the plaza. And finally, the last layer creates space for semi-private activities, such as child and elderly care centers, as well as apartments. What also sets this complex apart is their use of integrated greenery. On the top level is a community garden, as well as park space.
We always advocate landscape replacement. So whenever you develop a land, you took away the green open space. And what our government policy wants is to replace it with landscape in the building.
It's a small detail that's gone a long way. Resident surveys make clear the green space is noticed and appreciated as a place for families and friends to gather, or just a spot to get a little peace in the hectic city. In September, a housing delegation led by State Senator Stanley Chang headed to Singapore in hopes of exporting some of their successes to the Aloha State. Chang says the model found at Campong Admiralty is possible in Hawaii, and even essential. But it won't happen overnight.
It will take time, it will take money, but I believe that the biggest single obstacle is just embracing this vision. If the agencies at the state and county levels are able to see that, 20, 30, 40 years into the future, that these neighborhoods will be sites for lots and lots of high-density, mixed-use type housing, then now is the time to start making those investments in infrastructure.
Troy Hashimoto, who was newly appointed to the state senate, was also on the trip. As a representative, he chaired the housing committee in the House and says it's time to stop studying housing in Hawaii and start building it.
At least in Hawaii, we do this general plan, we have community plans, we have plans sitting on so many shelves out there, and yet that's all that typically happens is it sits on a shelf. One of the biggest things that I took away from this trip is, number one, I think planning is very, very key. That's what they do every day. They set goals and they achieve them, right? And I think that was inspiration for me to make sure that we keep pushing, right? And it's collaborating, it's coordinating, because I think if we keep at it for the next couple of years, I think we're going to see some really good progress.
Both Chang and Hashimoto said they plan to incorporate what they learned in Singapore to their legislative priorities in the coming session. We'll have more coverage of their visit to Singapore and their affordable housing plans in the coming weeks. But for now, scan the QR code on your screen to read more about this story and to listen to a deep dive into affordable housing problems and solutions with Senators Chang and Hashimoto. This is Emily Cristobal for Hawaii News Now.